We should talk firstly about the Galway county final over the weekend. St Thomas's were chasing a 5 in a row, and they have completed it. But Loughrea made them play 2 hours of hurling before they gave it to them. 115 to 17 points for a finish. Mark Caulfield scored 1-3 for St Thomas's. And if you're going to say, geez, I haven't heard that name too much before with the St Thomas's team, it's because you haven't. I mean, it's been quite a journey for him this year, but Kenneth Burke has seen him up close and personal with the junior team, and saw fit to promote him, and it's worked out very well.
Yeah, it's worked out unbelievably well. He was wearing number 6, but he started, I think, right wing forward. He'd been playing with the juniors all year, along with Burke. I suppose a chance to impress your manager and get him to see you up close and personal is never a bad thing. He's obviously impressed quite a lot playing junior. Hit 1-3 yesterday. The goal was an absolute bullet. Brilliant, really brilliant work from Conor Cooney in the way through. Broke the line, assessed his options a couple of times, gave the perfect hand pass to Caulfield, who was, running in motion, and an absolute bullet of a finish. I know the hurl was in around where he swung, but when you're striking at that sort of speed, it's very hard to block a shot like that. It 1-2 in the first half. He added another one in the second half. I thought Loughrea would put it up to Thomas's again, and they did, and they ran them so close and had a chance to draw it again at the end.
Yeah, Neil Keary, he was carrying the ball, and the commentator said that he could have carried it another 20 yards, and he could have for sure, but I don't know, maybe he felt that the strike was on. He had loads of space. He is a very accurate shooter. He scored one brilliant point in the first half where he was maybe 45 yards out, and he was kind of facing straight towards the goal, so he actually cut across it. It was a really nice score. He's a good free taker, and yeah, I don't know, it was just, he definitely could have carried it a bit further, and I'd say he didn't. He had a sleepless night last night.
Yeah, there was a man inside him as well, and he kind of wanted to plant his feet, but rushed the shot a bit. It looked like he didn't plant his feet as well. Probably could have brought it in a small bit more. But listen, we're all experts looking at it from here. That was he obviously thought that was the best thing to do. It's unfortunate the way it worked out. You'd have to say over the course of the season, this is the first game Loughrea have lost all year. And they pushed the county champions, the 5 in a row winners, so close. You'd have to imagine that Loughrea are going to come back over the coming years and going to be a massive, massive force. Nobody has really pushed Thomas's this close. They've been pushed close. I think their last 4 wins have been by a cumulative of 8 points, I think. But they were pushed so close here. Fair play to Loughrea. They left absolutely nothing out there. Every blow they took, they came back and delivered another one themselves. They had a goal chance as well. They had a good goal chance themselves as well. But Fintan Burke put in a fantastic block. Again, the feet were probably just planted. The attacker probably thought he had a bit more time than he actually had. Burke got a great block in. Those type of things are, these are the really small margins that make a difference. Again, it looked like a belter of a game. And I just actually saw a comment yesterday. Some people online were wondering why the Galway final wasn't on TV, or why there's been no Galway kind of action on TV. By all accounts, I think the Galway County Board are happy enough not to have their games on TV, because they've been absolutely creaming it in on the streaming service. And by all accounts, they did so again yesterday. So some people wondering why maybe Kilmacud are on TV the whole time. It's a lot to do with the clubs involved, and it's a lot to do with the county boards or the provincial boards involved as well, whether they think they're going to make more money off the streaming or more money off the attendances coming in. But 2 great games in Galway, and Thomas is lucky to survive, but they've developed a serious knack of doing that in recent years.
Yeah, I actually wondered what do people think out there, and get your comments in. The 2 million that was spent on the teams this year, and some of that would have come from the streaming, I'm sure. Do people think that would be better off spent on clubs, or are they happy enough to see it spent on the inter-county team? So just get your comments in on that. Now, I was just wondering about Conor Cooney, and Maurice Brosnan had this up afterwards. Late All-Ireland semi-final heartbreak without key players Shane Cooney and James Regan, brought to a replay. Still no stopping St Thomas's 5 in a row. What a team. Conor Cooney finishes with 479 the club championship. Late frees were clutch. And another thing I'd ask is, does anyone dominate their inter-county or their club championship quite like Conor Cooney has been done in recent times? And another thing I want to bring up as well is, when that goal was scored by Mark Caulfield, Conor Cooney broke through the centre of the field. He burst one lad with his shoulder, then he took off with a solo run. And what he did brilliantly was, a couple of times he looked around him as he was soloing, and the ball was still on the hurley. And that's one of the most impressive and important skills that a really good forward can have. The ability to look up while they're soloing. Obviously, you can only do it for a split second, really. But if you're able to scan while you're carrying the ball, You know, that's where Xavi and Iniesta and all these players in soccer were always that step ahead. But any good forward, that's something you need to be practicing. To be honest, anywhere on the pitch, really, because now everyone's expected to be able to carry the ball. But it's such a huge thing. And he really has been, I'd imagine, the most dominant player in Galway in the last number of years. But is there anyone coming to mind when you think of players within their own county championships who are really dominant?
In the Galway championship, I would have said even, you know, in the past 10 years and when Portumna were flying, like Joe Canning did dominate games, but he was also probably dominating at county level. Cooney probably hasn't scaled those heights at county level, maybe, but at club level, he's just been an absolute rock for them. He's also been captain for all 5, hasn't he? Which is unbelievable. Yeah, I think he's been captain for all 5, which is unbelievable. You know, there is obviously a big step up between club and county. He's been a good county hurler, but at club level, he's on a different. And there was one of the frees inside his own 65 into the teeth of a breeze, facing into Salt Hill, into the town, and it was just, you know, it was a huge score. And like, there are the differences really in games like this. I don't know how many times I've seen him kind of bail them out when they really needed it. And yeah, another brilliant performance yesterday. And they're back exactly where they wanted to be at the start of the year. They wanted to be in an All-Ireland semi-final. They're going to be facing the Ulster champions, be it Schlockneil or Dunley. And they're going to be favourites to be in an All-Ireland final probably as well, and favourites to get a shot at redemption against potentially either Ballyhale or Ballygunner. That's not to say that Ballyea and Kilmacud won't have something to say in it as well, but they're back exactly where they want to be. And I thought it was funny looking at the scenes on the pitch after. I think they realised how much it meant to achieve 5 in a row. And in fairness, you'd have to tip the cap to Loughrea just to see the Thomases lads falling to their knees. They know how much of a battle they were in. They wanted to get back and get another shot at whoever it is in their semi-final or final, and they're back there, and there was a lot of relief involved in it as well.
And where's that music you were going to play to celebrate St. Thomas's? Are you going to get that up at all while I read out this comment from ML89?
I can indeed, yeah.
So he goes, Caulfield came on against Ballyea in the 2017 All-Ireland semi-final, started games in years after, didn't hurl then for a couple of years, and came back when Kenneth Burke took over the team a couple of years ago. So that's interesting. You can play that music whenever you like there.
This is obviously, it's hard to actually get the proper tune, the proper tune of the actual song. Wait till I see if I can actually get it here. This is obviously very near and dear to my heart, because we famously ended a five in a row back in the day in Offaly. You might just mute me there for a second, Shane, while I'm getting this set up here.
Okay. And Richard Barry says, great win for Newcastle West. Fianna Castlemahon, mainly a hurling club. We're never going to win a match against Fossa anyway, but great occasion to have the Clifford brothers in Cooley Row. Sellout crowd, that was amazing. 1,600 people there, complete sellout. How often would you get that? Joe Canning supporter Porter, that's obviously in relation to the players that dominate within their county championship. You'd probably have to say TJ Reid is somebody that's definitely dominated in Kilkenny over the years. I'm thinking Tipperary and Paddy Maher there for a number of years. He was obviously a hugely powerful player. And I'm just wondering in championships outside of that, if there's anyone else who's really sticking out. Tony Kelly probably in Clare would be another one. Even when he was en route to getting his ankle surgery last year, he was still brilliant when he did appear in those games heading up to the final stage. Reggie Perry says, I was disappointed with Conor Cooney in the All-Ireland semi-final against Limerick this year. Oh, Verney's about to produce.
It's probably difficult for people to appreciate now, but for that match,
I'm going to just fast forward it to the end.
You are not giving an exhibition here.
A Ronaldinho type goal. The game has gone since. I don't believe it could ever again be done. 5 in a row. It's hard to believe we've got 5 in a row.